Shalom, shalom, it's the brother Kadash. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders, peace, blessings, and honors to all the brothers in the truth. This is part 3 called the Doomsday, part 3, the book of 2nd Esdras. I'm going to go into chapter 9, 15, and 16. If you haven't, check out part 1. It's very edifying, hopefully. Part 2. Hopefully that'll be very edifying to you too. So I'm going to pick up from where I left off at. This is a page called a channel called City Prepping. They go into doomsday, shit hitting the fan, end times, all hell breaking loose, what to do, how much time is left. This is called Doomsday Clock, you know, prophecy and stuff like that, what to do when these times happen. So I'm just going in and kind of filtering it through the scriptures, you know, since they have a good channel that kind of goes into this. So I'm gonna jump straight into the book, 2nd Esdras chapter 9. Since we're talking about that doomsday and this end time, we're gonna jump straight into it. Verse 1, it says, "He answered me and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself," since what's on your screen says how much time is left. So to us, the prophets, we're measuring the time diligently because we understand the scriptures. Like I already brung out in the first previous 2, the book of Matthew 24 breaks down, you know, the major signs that we're getting towards the end times, which one of those major signs is the Israelites waking up to who they are. Hosea chapter 5 verse 15, Deuteronomy chapter 30, us returning back to the Lord. But another one is also the mark of the beast, Revelation chapter 13 being implemented. We know that's one of the last prophecies, which is the microchip to happen, which people being chipped. And we know that, you know, that time we measuring the time diligently in itself. Now this is going back to Romans chapter 3 verse 1. "What advantage then has the Jew, and what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God." So nobody on earth is going to be able to break down or measure the time more diligently than the Israelites, starting off with the apostles of Great Millstone, the elders, on down to us brothers that's the hopefully elect, you know. And it says verse 3, "For what if some did not believe? Should their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid. Yeah, let God be true, but every man a liar." So we can't go off our heart. That thing is wicked. Who can understand it, right? It says, "As it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, as it is written, and mightest overcome when thou art judged." I had to kind of go hard on that because I got a person close to me that she always go off her feelings. Not my wife or anything like that. You know, I gotta have order in the household, but you know, people on the outside that's close to me, she kind of go off her feelings. Well, I feel this, I feel that. Can't nobody make you believe something, but as it is written, you know. So I always try to go into the scripture. She don't want to go into that. She just wants to go on her feelings, but that's neither here or there. This is back in 2nd Esdras chapter 9, talking about that doomsday. Then he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the sign pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time, wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So the Lord is coming back to visit the world, and we know what comes with that, the day of the Lord's fierce wrath. Doomsday, some call it. There's many names for it. Armageddon, doomsday, all hell breaking loose, shit hitting the fan. I mean, the end of times. You could, it's plenty of names that's been made up for it. Verse 2, "Then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when they shall be seen earthquakes," which goes until Matthew 24, "and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the day that were before thee, even from the beginning. You know, for like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." And that's all we say about Mystery Babylon America. These people think that this place is going to last forever, and we tell them like everything comes to the end. The only thing that's not going to come to the end is the kingdom. Now we could go into here, you know what, let's not pull no punches, but let's not make this super long either. Just back up everything we saying. This is Psalms chapter Which one is that? 10. This is Psalms chapter 10, verse 3. It says, "For the wicked boasts of his heart desire, and blesses not the covetous, who the Lord abhorreth. The wicked through much pride of his countenance would not seek after God. God is not all in his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above all of his sight. For all his enemies he puffeth up at them. And he has said in his heart, I shall not be moved." So just like we said with Mystery Babylon America, they think this place is going to last forever. It's not. Everything comes to an end. It says, "For I shall never be an adversary." Everything comes to an end but the kingdom of heaven. This is because I'm cooking right now, man. Let me cook. Let me work. This is Daniel 2, verse 44. It says, "And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which should never be destroyed, and the kingdom should not be left to other people," because it's for the Israelites. Deuteronomy chapter 30. What was that? Revelation chapter 7. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31. Romans chapter 9. Romans chapter 10. It says, "But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms," meaning America is going to come to an end. It's not going to last forever. Even though they say in their heart that they should never be moved, they are going to be moved. It says, "And consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever," meaning the kingdom of heaven should stand forever. That's the only thing that's not going to have an ending to it. Now back in 2nd Esdras chapter 9, verse 6, it says, "Even so the time also the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works, and ending in the effects and signs." So that's what we talking about. How much time is left? What's the signs that tells us we're getting close to that doomsday, like he's saying? What's the signs that we could see? This is 2nd Esdras chapter 15. Me personally, I always like to start at verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people should stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands." So you got people against people, kingdom against kingdom, swords in their hands, weapons. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, their governments, their leaders, and the course of their actions to stand in their power." They're going to get some victories out there. It says, "A man should desire to go in a city and should not be able." They're going to shut down the cities, man. For whatever reason, they figure it out. It could be an EMP attack. It could be because the lack of food in certain areas. It could be something to do with the jab. It don't matter, but they're going to shut them down. It says, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and man shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword." Because it's going to be famines and spoil their goods, see? Because of the lack of bread, which is a famine, for great tribulation. So we're going to have to go through that tribulation, right? Now, let's let this play.
Misled and enraged into act impulsively, exacerbating political and ideological differences. That's a lot to process, and I have indicated where I think the doomsday clock isn't the most accurate of indicators. Still, the threats it addresses, both new and old, are reliable indicators of the immediate threats we face. While they may not lead to an actual doomsday scenario, and tomorrow is always another day to perchance sidestep disaster and circumnavigate our collective fates, the threats the clock highlights are a real danger and something for which we should prepare. The Rapture Ready Index. The Rapture Ready Index.
We're not going to get into that because it's just that simple. We already read it. Like, what's 1 Corinthians 4? Matter of fact, Acts 14, it tells you through much tribulation we must enter in through the kingdom of heaven. Verse 22, starting at verse 22, Revelations 24, he that endures to the end. It just said the same thing in, what was that? 2nd Esdras chapter 7, him that endures to the end. So you're going to have to go through this, man. Now, like he said, prophecy. You can't change, like he said, maybe we could take steps to change. You can't stop prophecy. Prophecy will happen. There's no way you're going to be able to change it. Now let's go into 2nd Esdras chapter 16. Verse 24 says, "There should be no man left to till the earth or to sow it. The trees should give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, and who should tread them? For all places shall be desolate a man. So it's not just necessarily like there's going to be a famine, there's shortage of trees and everything. No, it's a thing called hyperinflation. The money's going to be devalued and collapse. And you have a thing of wars, rumors of wars, people bugging out. The Lord's putting that spirit out there, you know, because Esau's trying to complete his new world order. But when he's ready to fill his belly, the Lord's going to cast his fury upon him. Now, but in order for Esau to fulfill that new world order, going back to the Georgia Guidestone, he has to get population down to 500 million. So he got to figure out a way, like they caught Bill Gates, and he got to figure out a way to get rid of a lot of people, man. You know, so they got to do these things. They damn near got to take their system down in order to complete their one world order. Now, verse 27, so that one man should desire to see another and hear its voice. For of the city there should be 10 left and 2 in the field. Kind of reminds you of the movie with Will Smith, I Am Legend. Imagine that, or the Book of Eli. Imagine that. That kind of gets the image in your head. It says, which shall hide themselves in thick groves in the clefts of the rocks. And as an orchard of olives, upon every tree there is left 3 or 4 olives. Or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters, and them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so, in those days, there should be 3 or 4 left by them that searches the house with the sword. So there's going to be a lot of men that's going to be out here, kind of like the Walking Dead, with guns in their hand, going from place to place, location, looking for food, resources. It says, in the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man should travel through. So there's going to be a lot of death on earth, and that population is going to be reduced a lot. It says, verse 33, the virgin shall mourn having no bridegroom, the woman shall mourn having no husband, their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. So women are going to be taken off their pedestal. Going back to Isaiah chapter 13, which we end off with that one, because I almost forgot about that one. A man is going to be made more precious than fine gold because of this. Right here, verse 34. In the wars shall their bridegroom be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. And now, if you go back to what's that, Romans chapter 7, right? When these women husbands die, they're free from that bond. And that's why a lot of brothers are going to get wives, because a lot of these women, their husbands are going to die in the famines or wars. And then you're going to have a thing called Isaiah 4:1, where 7 women should take hold of 1 man, saying, look, man, we all got to take hold of this one. All the other ones been dying. We got to take hold of this one. Verse 35, hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Believe not the gods of who the Lord spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh. Doomsday draweth nigh, man. And are not slack. Coming very soon, sooner than you even think. They are not slack. Verse 38, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bring forth her son with 2 or 3 hours in her birth, great pains compass her womb. I got 2 sons, so I know exactly those contractions. The sooner she gets to the baby being born, the harder and harder they come, the worse and worse. Which pains when the child coming forth, they slack not a moment. So a lot of women got to get the epidural or something, or sometimes they give you the face gas mask, but that shit really don't work. A lot of women got to get the shot, the epidural, to kind of numb everything, or it's going to be too much pain. But the world is going to feel this pain with no epidural. That says verse 39, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it every side. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrim upon the earth. You're going to have to go from place to place, just like the Walking Dead. You're going to have to be out there on the move. And this is coming soon, man. You got to take this serious, because this is coming soon. You don't want it to sneak up on you like a thief in the night. So take heed. You know, hopefully this will be edifying. Let's end it off with Isaiah 13, since I almost forgot about that one. Let me get to it so I can. This is Isaiah chapter 13. We talking about that doomsday. Verse 9. Actually, let's start at verse 8. It says, and they shall be afraid, pains and sorrows, just like 2 Esdras chapter 16 just told us, should take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. See? So that's how, through us breaking this lesson down, it's edifying, and it's also validating the apocrypha, because it's saying the same thing, same event. They shall be amazed at one another, their faces shall be as flames. Going back to Matthew chapter 24, the love of many shall wax cold. It says, behold, the day of the Lord cometh with cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger. That sounds like doomsday to me. To lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof should not give her light. The sun should be darkened in his going forth, and the moon should not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. It's going to be over with, man. You woman that's put on a high pedestal, you're coming down. Esau, the proud boys, you getting put out, man. It says, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. It says, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedges of Ophir. Therefore, I will shake the heavens. So the scriptures keep talking about the heavens being shaken, the earth, and the earth should be removed out her place. And in the wrath of the Lord hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. Why? Because those nukes are going to, man, they're going to, the technology today, people never seen this technology used. It's so advanced today, and the Lord gave the world that technology. It's going to completely shock you what these nuclear weapons could do. You don't even we can't even perceive what they could do. But when you see these things go off, oh man, man's heart is going to fail them. Men are going to be in complete fear. And like I always say, when I was a little boy, I had a dream of this. I didn't understand what it was. I was a little boy. I had this dream for a while. It just keep coming back random times. And what I seen was a whole bunch of different lights in the heavens, in the skies. I know now it was the chariots versus Esau and the fighter jets. The armies of the earth and their fighter jets and they aircrafts versus the Lord and the so-called UFOs, the world calls UFOs, which is the chariots of Israel. And I'm talking about, you had jets and planes and stuff getting shot out the sky and coming down and blowing up on the ground. You had weapons and nukes and missiles and stuff hitting different places, man. And if you was on the ground, you didn't know what was going to fall out the sky on you. You was very afraid to even do anything because stuff was falling out the sky. That's just the dream division that I had. I think I did a video on it, right? But let's leave that there, and let's just say, look, salvation to the elect. Shalom. Hopefully this has been edifying. That doomsday, all hell breaking loose. SHTF, the end of times, it's about to come very soon. You know, measure that time diligently, and you know, salvation to the elect though.